This is a winning trade, strongly profitable, sitting in a backtest that says the strategy actually works. Except it isn't. On real tick data, you can see the stop actually hit first, and the winning trade that we thought was real is actually a loser. And here's the part that should bother you. The charts and platforms that people use to actually perform these backtests can't tell the difference between this. If you've ever ran a backtest on a strategy where your stop and your target hits within the same bar, how do you tell what hit first? TradingView struggles with this. The data just isn't there. I'm Drew. Last time I showed you a backtest lying about drift. This time I'm going to show you a backtest lying about the data underneath. I'm going to show you the data layer that pros actually trade on. Every tick, every trade across every price. And I'm going to show you how Claude Code can read it for you in Python. No developing skills required. Which works out because I'm not a developer and you don't need to be one to use this information. So no signals, no hype. Let's do this. So let's back up a second. Everyone obsesses over their strategy, their indicators, the perfect entry and exit rules, the perfect backtest, the perfect AI prompt to make their backtest better. But none of this actually matters if you can't trust or validate the data that your strategy is tested on. That's where almost everyone's quietly building on sand. Search AI trading and you'll come across a wall of content about TradingView. And that's because it's easy. Paste in some Pine script and see results in minutes. It's a great place to learn, and I actually started there myself for a few years. It's just not where serious money trades and not where the real data lives. The pros use Sierra chart. It looks like software from 2008 and is known for having an insane learning curve. The first time I opened it, I actually didn't return back to it for multiple years because I thought it was too confusing. After I became a more experienced trader and I returned back to Sierra chart, everything clicked. The ugliness is the point. Sierra chart excels at two things. That's execution and data accuracy. Looks didn't make the cut. It has a reputation for a steep learning curve and a raw data format that's initially hard to grasp. And if you want to build any indicators in it, you have to know C++. But now, with tools like Claude Code, Sierra chart is more intimidating than it is difficult. And the tool that flattened this learning curve is the one I'm about to show you. What's on the other side is the most valuable thing of this process, the data layer underneath. Now onto the data. On TradingView, every candle is a summary. You have your open, your high, your low, and your close. That's it, 4 points, and that is what your backtest is standing on. Inside that same bar, Sierra chart has every tick. That's every print, every trade, with volume across all prices. All this information is stored in files called SCID files. These are all stored right on your computer, locally, for the price of your market data subscription. Before, the only catch was actually understanding and accessing this data if you were a developer. So here's the first thing I did. I didn't go run to go learn C++. I pointed Claude Code at the directory with all these SCID files, and I had it build me a reader. This reader is written in Python and gives me the foundation for further testing and reading in the future. And once you have this reader, here's what changes. You have years and years of tick data all at your fingertips right on your machine. Depending on your hardware, you can test and load all this data in seconds. In fact, here's that opening range breakout strategy I did in my last video. The video where it showed that the backtest was just drift over a bull market. It's a strategy running on real tick data, not just 4 data points. This is the engine that lets you ask, is this fill actually possible? And that's the payoff I promised you at the top. So here's the reframe. You're actually not missing a smarter AI model. What you're missing is a data set that you can actually trust. Everyone's out there trying to optimize for the prompt, but in reality, the foundation was the problem the whole time. So what does that buy you? 4 things a summary can't. 1, you can reconstruct any strategy tick by tick. The exact entry, the exact exit, the exact order and sequence of things happening within the bar. And this is instead of a platform either guessing for you or having an inherent bias. 2, you catch the biases that quietly inflate your backtest. You saw the big one at the top of this video, where your stop and your target happens within the same bar. A lot of times the backtest assumes a good fill. Real ticks know what hit first. A summary just guesses. And the funny thing, a lot of times it just guesses in your favor and makes you believe you have an amazing backtest and amazing strategy. That one's a video on its own, and it's the next one I'm making. 3, you get years and years of data at your fingertips. This allows you to test different market regimes and different theories across different time frames. On TradingView, you have to pay for the most expensive plan to get the most amount of data, and you're still limited to just a few years with that. And 4, because it's all local, you don't have to run one backtest and cross your fingers that the strategy works. You can run thousands of sweeps, different permutations, until you can actually see the shape of the edge that you're trying to achieve. That's not a feature you buy. That's what a real research desk does. And now you can run it on your own desktop locally. Now, the part that makes this accessible. You might be thinking, great, this all sounds awesome, but I'm not a C++ developer. Well, the good news is neither am I. I don't know Sierra Chart's file format by heart, and I can't sit down and write a reader from scratch on my own. And the good news is you don't have to. You can describe what you want to test in plain English. You can have Claude Code connect to Sierra Chart by reading the SCID files directly. Then once you have this pipeline in place, you can just dictate you want to test X strategy over X amount of time and work with Claude Code to develop this backtest and get real results. You direct it, you review it, but you don't actually write the code for it. Because the bottleneck was never the coding. It was knowing what to ask and knowing whether the answer was correct. And that's my and your job as a trader, and the part that you can never automate away. You have to understand the market, understand the edge you're trying to test, and understand if the data that you're getting back from Claude Code or whatever AI tool you're using is reasonable and makes sense. So that's the foundation and how I'm using Claude Code to connect directly to Sierra Chart. I get real tick data and a reader that Claude Code built for me in Python. This gives me the ability to test any strategy accurately. Everything else, the backtest, the signal generation, the execution, everything is built on top of this. Each one is its own video on its own coming in the future. So today was the foundation and how to actually access rich data. So next video, I'll address the fill bias that I see a lot of backtests have. I'll show you how to build a backtest that avoids this bias and let you know your results accurately and honestly. And after years of trading and trying to understand my trading style and the data that I'm seeing, I can honestly tell you that Sierra Chart with Claude Code is 1,000 times better than TradingView. I don't see a lot of content out there with this stack, and I want to share my knowledge with the community. So if you want the code from this video, that includes the SCID reader, along with the demo so you can test and play around with it yourself to see how it works, I'm including a link below to sign up for the newsletter. Once you sign up, I'll send you a link directly to the code so you can download it and test it on your own. It's free and includes real methods and tools for people trying to build their own systems. So check out the link below at the One Person Trade Desk and sign up today. My name is Drew, and if you made it this far, I want to thank you for watching. I'm a new channel just trying to figure things out and trying to understand what other people are doing and how you're backtesting. In the comments, I'd love to hear what you're backtesting on and if you trust your data that you're actually testing on. See you next time.